Hey guys, welcome back. Today I have a very fun DIY project to share with you. It's something I kind of made on a whim, but it ended up being one of my favorite projects so far this fall, I think. We're going to be making a very cute oversized fall tote bag. It's so big that I can't even fit it all in the frame, but it's here. It has a little pocket in the top for your phone. It has extra long straps so you can carry it over a winter coat. I don't know about you guys, but I can't stand bags that are too small to like comfortably put on your shoulder. So it has lots of room for storage. I'll give you all the measurements and everything. It's very easy to cut out and sew this bad boy up. So yeah, stay tuned. In just a second, I'm going to show you guys how to make your very own oversized fall tote bag. We'll start by making a very simple pattern. You only need 3 different measurements, and I'm going to put them right up here on the screen so you can follow along. You can definitely adjust these measurements as well. My tote bag was very long, so if you want to make yours 20 by 20 or 20 by 22 or something like that, that's obviously fine. I'm going to link the pattern paper below as well as some of the other tools I'm using today. You don't need a roll of pattern paper, you can actually just trace out these shapes on the back of fabric, but if you like to keep an archive of projects and you want to make several tote bags, it's nice to have a paper pattern you can keep using. This is the fabric I found at Joann Fabrics the other day. Was actually on my way out of the store and I spotted this beautiful flannel plaid fabric, and I didn't know exactly what I was gonna make, but when I got it back home I decided to make a tote bag, and I still have some left over, so I might try to make some other little project out of it as well. So we're gonna lay down our pattern pieces and pin them to the fabric and then cut them out. I did cheat a little bit here. I decided that because there was a plaid motif on the fabric, I could just sort of measure it out. Because of this little shortcut I tried to take, the straps were actually not very even, so definitely use your pattern or live on the edge. I think it came out fine anyway, but I'm not the most technical person in the world. So the next step is taking out your sewing machine. You can also sew this by hand, but there is a bit of time-consuming stitching involved because we're going to double stitch the actual bag in a French seam, which I'll show you in a second. So I do recommend using the machine if you have one. The first thing we're going to do is take the main bag pieces of fabric and put them right side out. So the wrong side of the fabric is going to be together, and we're going to sew that together. This is opposite of what we would usually do. Usually if you're sewing something, you want to put the face of the fabric together and the wrong side of the fabric would be facing outward. But in this case, we're going to flip it and do another seam. So that's how we're doing it for this one. So we'll go ahead and sew all the way around. I did a 1/2 inch seam allowance. I do like to backstitch at the beginning and also at the corners, or any anchor points as I call them, to make sure it's a nice clean line. And once you're done sewing this seam, you're going to clip your seam allowance so that it's not exactly next to the stitch, but maybe like 1/8 of an inch. Once you've clipped your seam allowance, you can go ahead and flip the bag inside out, and then we're going to sew another seam around a little bit in from where we just sewed. So if you've clipped it down to 1/8, you can go ahead and sew another 1/2 inch seam allowance, and we're capturing that first seam in another seam so that no matter which way you turn the bag, it's a finished edge. The bag won't necessarily be reversible, but you will be able to have the extra security that if you have one seam sort of broken on the inside or outside, it's not going to immediately cause you to lose things out of your bag. You have the extra security of a double seam. Now we're going to move on to the straps. For the straps, we'll take our long pieces of fabric, lay them flat, and for this part you might want to get an iron to press your fabric. My iron is not really working, so I didn't use it. So for the straps, we're going to fold in 1 inch from each side so they meet in the middle. Then you're going to fold it again. I like to fold mine not all the way to the edge, but slightly to the edge so that you can pin it. This is where we're going to top stitch the strap flat. So go ahead and top stitch down those straps, and as you can see, this fabric behaves very well for me here, and they look quite flat. Normally, you'd probably have to press these to get them to look flat. It really depends on the fabric you're using. Now we're going to attach our straps to the bag. Lay your tote bag flat with the raw edge of the bag at the top, and lay your straps upside down on the bag edge. I used a ruler just to quickly measure where each strap should go so that they were even on both sides. Now we're going to top stitch those straps to the bag, and make sure you don't sew the bag closed at this point. That's a mistake I could see myself making, but luckily I didn't do it this time. So here you can see how the straps are attached, and that when you flip them up, you'll be able to see how we're going to achieve that clean edge on the top of the bag. Now we're going to make our little pocket. So take the pocket piece and fold it over about a 1/2 inch, and then fold over again another 1/2 inch. Go ahead and top stitch this down. Next, you're going to fold that piece up so that it creates a little pocket or envelope, and fold each side over the same way you did the bottom. So you're going to fold 1/2 inch and 1/2 inch and pin in place and top stitch down. During this step, I also took my phone and slid it into the pocket to make sure that it would be able to fit. Once this has been top stitched down, we're ready to attach the pocket to the top of the tote bag. Place the raw edges together and fold the top of the tote bag down over the pocket. You're going to fold twice once again to create that clean edge, and then you're going to fold the straps up. This does create a bit of bulk when you capture the strap in that folded edge, so just be sure you have long pins so that you can pin it in place. And we're going to top stitch right over this. First we'll go around and fold over the edge of the bag all the way around and pin that in place. Now very carefully top stitch around the top of the bag. Try to keep your seam allowance even. I think I went for a 1/2 inch or a little bit less, maybe a 1/4 inch seam allowance. My fold was a bit skinny. I would actually recommend folding a bit more so you have a bit more of a thick top of the bag. But once you top stitch around here, everything will be sewn in place and you should have a very clean finish. And that's it, guys. Your pocket is attached in there, your straps are on, your bag seams are finished, and that is a tote bag. This project, like I said, not very complicated, but I think the results are very cute. Well guys, that's it for today's DIY project. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you'll create your very own oversized DIY tote bag and, you know, carry your stuff around this fall. Maybe you need it for trick-or-treating or to go to work or to school or whatever. If you make this tote bag, I'd love to see it. So follow me on Instagram at heymishka and tag me because I would love to see what you guys are working on. To keep up with updates for this October, join my newsletter. It's heymishkanewsletter.com. I'll be sending out weekly updates for all the previous week's content because I'm aiming to do every other day DIY projects and vlogs for the month of October. We only have another solid week of October left and then like Halloween and then we're into November already. I can't believe how fast that this month has gone. But it's been an absolute blast creating with you guys and we still have more DIYs coming up, so stay tuned, subscribe, drop a comment if you're enjoying the DIY projects or if you want to share anything about what you're working on. I'd love to hear from you either way. Stay cozy and safe and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!